Okay, good morning, everybody, and Hazak Baruch. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Monday morning. Hayom Shenaim Ushloshim Yom LaOmer. Today is the 32nd day of the Omer, which is Arba'a Shavuot ve'Arba'a Yamim, 4 weeks and 4 days. 32. What does that mean, everyone? If today's 32, that means that tonight is 33. Lag Baomer Bar Yochai Nimshachta Ashrecha. Okay, tonight is Lag Baomer, my friends. And today I'd like to discuss what exactly is Lag Baomer. Different things are going on actually on Lag Baomer. It's a celebration for two reasons, and today I'd like to discuss one of them. So the two things that happened on Lag Baomer is what the Gemara tells us. Okay, the Gemara tells us one thing, and then the Zohar tells us another thing. Okay, we'll work backwards because we're actually not going to do the Zohar bit today, but just to tell you what happened. Today, according to the Zohar, is the day, not today, tonight, Lag Baomer, 33 day of the Omer, is also the yortzeit of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is the author. He's the one who brought down into writing. He's the one that brought down, actually he didn't write it. Later on it was written many years later. But he brought down the secrets of the Sod. The Sod, the Torah has many different layers. There's the Pshat, what it says in the Torah, Bereshit, Bara Elohim, and Noach, and Avraham, and everybody. That's the story, that's Pshat. Then there's Remez, there's Drash, there's deeper layers, there's homiletics. That's the Gemara has many of that. There's Midrashim. And then there's the Sod. The Sod is the esoteric, the mystic level, the Torah HaKabbalah, the Torah HaKabbalah, that is very, very, very deep. And of course, one has to understand what the Kabbalah is saying. You can't just open up a Kabbalah book in English and read it. That's a joke. But either way, this is the Torah HaSod that for many, many centuries was untapped. And Rabbi Akiva brought it down. Rabbi Akiva was able to teach many of those secrets. Even he, when he brought it down, was still way, way beyond our understanding. It was only 1,000+ years later, in the year 1500, that the Arizal came, and he's the one that made the writings of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai understandable. He watered them down even more. And it wasn't him, it was actually his student through him, Rav Chaim Vital. And even that was still very deep. Eventually, a lot of Chassidut was able to open it up, and Rav Moshe Chaim Lotzato. And eventually, till today, it's so watered down from the original Sod. But this is basically, in short, what Kabbalah is. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of Kabbalah, the father of Kabbalah, you could say, he passed away on Lag Baomer. Okay, he passed away on Lag Baomer. So it's his yortzeit, but he wanted that his students should not cry, but they should celebrate the day that he passed away, because it's the culmination of a life that was well lived, of a man who reached his potential, and therefore he made it the day of celebration. And we go to his kever in Miron, we sing, we celebrate. This is Bar Yochai, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. That's his full name. Rabbi Shimon, the son of Yochai. They didn't have last names back then. Okay, so it was Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and we celebrate his death. We celebrate his death. We actually, more importantly, we celebrate his life. So tonight will be Lag Baomer, his yortzeit, and that's one reason why we are celebrating tonight. Okay, is that clear? Good? Good. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nהיה baro. Then this is what the Gemara tells us. Gemara tells us, let's open Masechet Yebamot, page 62. Yebamot Samech Bet Amud Bet. Let's study a few Gemarot today. Tanya, it was taught, Rabbi Yoshua says, Nasa Adam Isha Beyaduto. If you got married young, some people were blessed to be able to get married young. You got married young, Yisa Isha Bezaknuto. You should also make sure that you get married when you're older. If God forbid, let's say the marriage ended, whether it was a divorce or a death, okay? Just because the marriage is over doesn't mean that you should stay single. You should get married again. That's one example. He's giving you an example. If you never got divorced and Baruch Hashem, your spouse is still alive, that's a big blessing. But even if the marriage ended, make sure to get married again. Or another example, Hayulo banim beyalduto. Let's say you had kids young. Yihilu banim beziknuto. Make sure you still have more children as you get older. Okay? Meaning, in life, just because you accomplished doesn't mean you should stop accomplishing. You had kids, have more kids. You got married, get married again. You build a company, build another company. Whatever you did in life, it's always good to push, to have passion, ambition. And he says a pasuk in Kohelet, Baboker zera et zarecha. In the morning, plant your seeds. However, la'erev, in the evening, al tanach yedecha. Don't stop. In the evening, don't stop. That means in the morning represents light, represents awake, represents energetic, represents when we're in the prime of our lives. In the prime of our lives. Yeah, when you're in the morning phase of life, when you're in your prime, when you're excited, when you're eager, when you want to conquer, great, do it, right? But that's easy. What's harder is la'erev. What's harder is when it's dark. What's harder is when it gets depressing, when it gets boring, when it gets blah, when it gets bland. La'erev, you gotta have the discipline to not stop. Al tanach yadecha. Keep going. Never stop in life. Ki encha yodeya eze yichshar. You never know which one's gonna actually be successful. Hazeh o zeh. Which kids that you had are gonna be the ones that will end up being your pride. Will it be your younger ones or the older ones? Okay? Im shneim had tovim. Maybe both. Rabbi Akiva extends this. Lamad Torah be'aduto. If you learn Torah when you were young, Yilmod Torah beziknuto. You should make sure to keep learning Torah as you get older. Hayulu talmidim be'aduto, yulo talmidim beziknuto. If you had students young, you should continue to have students in your elderly years. Shneimar, like the pasuk, like we just quoted. Okay? So basically what the Gemara is saying is in life, never stop. Okay? Never stop. Never stop. And now the Gemara tells us the famous story that we all know. Rabbi Akiva didn't just teach this, Rabbi Akiva lived this. Look at this. Amru, they said, Shnem asar elef zugim talmidim hayulu Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva had 12,000 pairs of students. That's 24,000 students. Migebat ad Antipras. From this city to that city. Vekulan metu. Unfortunately, they all died. Beperek ehad. In one time. Bepedei shelo na'agu kavod ze lazeh. Because they didn't give respect one to another. And the world was empty. Imagine 24,000 rabbis. Unfortunately, they all passed away. In one time period, the world was empty. By the way, what was that time period? The Gemara says, it was now. The time period was now. They all died in this stage, in this time. That's why we have the beards, okay? This is not a fashion statement. That's why we have a beard. That's why we don't cut our hair. That's why we don't get married. Why? It's a sad time. It's a sad time. We're mourning Rabbi Akiva's students, 24,000 of them. Ad sheber Rabbi Akiva, it's a rabotenu shebadarom. Rabbi Akiva, what happened after that? He went to the south. And he got 5 new students. Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Elazar ben Shamua. 5 new students. And they are the ones who built Torah from scratch. Okay? So Rabbi Akiva is over here is fulfilling what he taught. He didn't just say that you should have students when you're young and have students again when you're older. He lived it. He had students when he was young, 24,000 of them, and unfortunately they all died. And then again, he had new students when he got older. Okay? This is brought down in Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says, Nohagim, chapter 493, the custom is Shalol Isa Isha ben Pesach la'atzeret. Custom is not to have marriages from Pesach till Atzeret ad Lag Baomer till the 33rd of the Omer. Because in that time, Rabbi Akiva's students died. They died from Pesach till Lag Baomer. So therefore, it's a sad time. We don't get married in between these 33 days. After Lag Baomer, okay, so it's from tonight and on. No, right? You're allowed to get married. Aval le'ares v'lekadesh, but you could get engaged if you wanted to. Okay, that's allowed. Nohagim, furthermore, he says there's a custom, shelo lehistaper, you don't get a haircut. Ad lag la'omer, till the 33. Because she'omrim she'az pasku milamut, because that's when they stop dying. And actually, for Sfaradim, we don't go till the 34th. Okay, baboker. So for us, listen, if you're Sfaradi, please listen to this. When can I get a haircut? The answer is Wednesday morning. Okay, Wednesday morning. Rabbi, when can I cut my nails? The answer is, I hope you were cutting them all along, because that was never part of the decree, okay? You were always allowed to cut your nails, okay? Haircut, when can I shower? Oh boy, you're in trouble. You were always allowed to shower, everybody, okay? Showering was never a problem. Cutting your nails was never a problem. Only haircuts, and if you accepted the custom of as well shaving, for those that have that custom, okay? So haircut, shaving, for Sfaradim Wednesday morning, Ashkenazim could go tomorrow. They go tomorrow, Lag, but we go one more day. But either way, Shulchan Aruch says, when does it all end? Lag Baomer or Lag Baomer, 33, 34. Ask the Pri Hadash, I don't understand. How is that a reason to celebrate? You celebrating that they stopped dying? They stopped dying because they were all dead. They all died. Why is that a happy day? Imagine the day that you make a holiday out of the last day that the 6 millionth Jew died. That's a very sad day. It should be a day of mourning. What are you celebrating? The reason they stopped dying was because there was no one left. They all died. That's why they stopped dying. There's no miracle of a year. There's no happy day. There's no happy occasion. So what's the happiness that we're celebrating, my friends, on Lag Baomer? Dancing and singing and barbecues and fires and bow and arrows and all the good stuff and music. It's a very sad day. That's when the last one died. It's when they all finished. There was no one left now. This should be the biggest day of mourning. So what's the celebration, my friends, on Lag Baomer? Okay? Let's open up another Gemara, same page, 62, but another Masechet. Okay? I love how sometimes the pages line up. I don't know if there's any significance to that, especially because the pages really are really the shape of the page with Rashi and Tosafot, right? Who decided that? I don't know if there's any significance to the page number, but either way, it's pretty cool when they line up. Another story, here we go, Rabbi Akiva, another story of Rabbi Akiva. Ra'aya de ben Kalva Savua Hava. He was the shepherd of Kalva Savua. Anyone here ever heard of Kalva Savua? Raise your hand if you did. Kalva Savua was such a wealthy man that's what the word means. Kalva Savua. You would come in hungry like a dog, you would walk out Savua. Kalva, Kelev, Savua. This guy was loaded, okay? One of the 3 wealthiest people of the time, the Gemara says. So Rabbi Akiva was one of his employees. Chazite barte dehavat tzaniya uma'ali. His daughter, Mr. Boss's daughter, sees this man, Rabbi Akiva. He wasn't a rabbi, he was Akiva, simple shepherd, that he had something of promise. He had modesty, something nice about him, that she saw potential. She saw potential in life. To see potential is a big skill. You see potential in a property, potential in a currency. People make a lot of money when they see Ezu chacham haro'eh et hanolad. To have hindsight, but looking forward, right? To be able to have vision, it's called. To look forward, not to look backward. Everyone can look backward, but to be able to see the problem or to see the potential before it happens. So she had vision. She went over to him one day. Amrale, she starts talking to this employee of her dad, Akiva. She says, Imeka deshenalach, if you marry me, azat lebe Rav, I will marry you on condition that you go to yeshiva. He was 40. He was 40-year-old, unintelligent, not in touch with his spirituality, not in touch with his emotions, nothing. Amar le'in, he says, yes, if you marry me, I will accept. Okay? What a deal. Marry the boss's daughter, you're hooked for life, you're good, you're set up. I'm in. Ikdasha le betzina. They secretly got engaged. And he went. Shama abuha, her father heard. Afkam bete, he kicked her out. Adra hana'am nechsei. And he also removed her from being able to enjoy his will. He wrote her out of the will. He removed her from the family. He was so upset that she married this guy. Azil yativ tres sare shenin bebei Rav. He went for 12 years to study. Ki ata, when he came back after 12 years in yeshiva, aiti bahadeh, he brought with him tres sare alfei talmideh. 12,000 students he brought with him. Sham'ei le'ahu sabadeh ka'amarla, he heard a certain old guy talking to his wife, and he was saying to her, Ad kama kamedabart almanot hayim. What are you doing married to this guy, Akiva? He left you for 12 years, and you're basically living like a widow. You can't get married to anyone else, and your husband's not home. Your husband's MIA. What kind of life is this? Come on, Rachel. Amrale, she said back, I ledidi tzayid. If he would hear me, yativ tres sareh shanei aharini. I would send him for another 12. Yeah, you think I'm upset that I'm alone? I would go for another 12. Send him. Well, guess who's listening by the door? Rabbi Akiva was there. Amar, he said to himself, Bershut ka'avidna, must be that she's giving me permission. She gave me the green light. Hadar ezil veyativ tres sareh shanei aharini. He went for another 12 years. Okay? A lot of men would dream this, that their wife should let them go for 12 years alone. Okay? He went for another 20, so that's 12 plus 12, 24 years. Ki'ata, when he came after 24, Aiti Bahade Esrin Ve'arba'a Alfei Talmidi. He brought 24,000 students. Okay? 1,000 students per year, maybe. That's the math. I don't know. Pretty cool. Okay? Sham'a debitu, his wife heard, Havaka nafka le'apeh. She came out to greet him. His wife comes to see her husband after 24 long years. Amru la shiveveta shali manel lebush. Well, when she got to Rabbi Akiva, she was pushing through the crowd to go see her husband. She fell on his feet and she started to kiss them. The Gabai, the helper, his bodyguard, Rabbi Akiva's bodyguard, he had a bodyguard now. He starts pushing her away. What are you doing? This is the rabbi. You don't touch the rabbi. Amar lehu, he said, Shafkuha, leave her. Sheli v'shelachem shelahu. Everything that we have, my Torah, your Torah, it's all hers. Thanks to this lady. She's my wife. She's the reason that I am who I am today. She sent me. She believed in me. She saw promise in me. She's the one that sent me. Don't touch her. Leave her alone. All of our Torah is really hers. Beautiful story in Masechet Ketubot, page 62. Okay? Similar story in page Nedarim, page 50. And finally, one more story. Okay? One more story. So this is a beautiful story, how Rabbi Akiva started. Again, he was a big guy. He was Amma Aretz. He had nothing to him. Says another story as follows. Avot de Rabbi Natan. Ma hayat chilato shel Rabbi Akiva. How did Rabbi Akiva start off? What was his beginnings? Amru, they say, Ben 40 shana haya. He was 40-year-old. Velo shana klum. Didn't know anything. Didn't know aleph bet. Didn't know nothing. One day, one day he was standing by a well. Amar, mi haka kevenzo. He saw in this big rock, he saw a huge hole. He said, who made this hole in this rock? Amru lo hamayim, water. Shetadir noflim alea bechol yom. You know what it is? It's water every day dripping slowly into this rock. Made this huge cavity. Amrulo Akiva. Iyata kore avanim shahaku mayim. Again, don't you know that water can grind rocks? Miyad haya Rabbi Akiva dan kal vachomer be'atzmo. Immediately Rabbi Akiva said, wow, if that's the case, marach psalet hakasheh, if water which is soft can indent into a hard rock, divrei Torah, so obviously a hard Torah could engrave into my soft mind, okay, into my heart. Miyad hazar l'lmod Torah. Immediately he turned around and he started to learn Torah. Okay, halach hu ubno. He went with his son. Veyashvu etzel melamedei tinokot. They sat by little school children. Hayalomed ve'olech ad shelamad kol haTorah kula. They would sit in class learning the. He started from first grade. 40-year-old man. Ben 40 shana halach l'lmod Torah. And eventually, 13 years later, he was able to teach Torah to the masses. Okay? So this is, my friends, the stories of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, again, there's overall over here a theme, if you're paying attention. And what is that theme? What is the theme over here? All these stories, what are they adding up to? He's 40 years old, and she says, if you marry me, and he goes out for 12 years and another 12 years, and then he sees the rock and a hole in it. What exactly did he learn that day, by the way, from the rock with a hole? I mean, yeah, so what? Very nice. Water can make a hole in a rock. Hazak Baruch. What was the chidush? What the chidush was, my friends, we need to see one more Mishnah. Mishnah says in Masechet Yoma, Very famous Mishnah. It's sung a lot on Simchat Torah, this song. They made a song out of it, and they sing it on Lag Baomer. Amar Rabbi Akiva. Oh, here we go. Same author. Amar Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says, Ashrechem Israel. You Jews are so lucky. Ashrechem Israel. Fortunate are you Jewish people. Lifnei mi atem metaharim. Because after all, who purifies you? Umi metaher etchem. Avichem shebashamayim. You know who purifies you? Your Father in heaven. Shneimar v'zarakti lachem mayim tehorim metahartem. I sprinkle on you mayim tehorim. And I furthermore say, Mikveh Yisrael Hashem. The pasuk says in Yirmiyah, Mikveh Yisrael Hashem, that God is like the mikveh. What's a mikveh? From the word kaveh, hope. God is the hope of the Jewish people. However, Rabbi Akiva understands this pasuk literally. Mikveh Yisrael Hashem, God is the mikveh. Just like a mikveh metaheret tameim, just like a mikveh purifies the tameh. If you're tameh, you go in a mikveh, you're clean. Avakadosh Baruch Hu metaheret Israel. So too God purifies the Jewish people. Says Rabbi Akiva, how lucky you are, because you Jews, you have a mikveh, you could get cleaned. And what's the pasuk? The pasuk is in Yirmiyah, Jeremiah, Mikveh Yisrael Hashem. And over here, Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson asks a beautiful question, beautiful, very powerful question. Look what he says. He says, really, what is this pasuk over here? That God purifies the Jewish people? Did you have to go all the way to a pasuk in Navi to find that out? I mean, we have a holiday called Yom Kippur. Every year, we believe that God purifies the Jewish people. I mean, after all, what's the pasuk say? The pasuk, Ki bayom hazeh yechaper alechem, לתאר אתכם מכל חטאותיכם לפני עמוני תטהרו. Right? Doesn't it say very clearly, black and white, that Hashem purifies us? לפני עמוני תטהרו. Why do you gotta find me a pasuk all the way in Navi? In the Navi you have to go to? I found you a pasuk in the Chumash. Moshe Rabbeinu. Forget Yirmiyah. Forget Jeremiah. I found you Moses. Moses says a pasuk, God cleans us. No. Mikveh Yisrael Hashem. Just like a mikveh purifies a tameh, so too, what's going on over here? What's going on? He says Rabbi Y.Y. something so beautiful. My friends, we know there are different levels of tum'ah, different levels of impurity. Yeah, there's an impurity that a person has because they touched a dead body. There's an impurity that sometimes a person has that because they touched an animal. The purity person, right? Different reasons that a person can be tameh. And depending on the tum'ah, will also determine what kind of purification they need. So as an example, some people need to go to a mikveh to become clean. Some people, mikveh is not enough. Some people need para aduma, red heifer. So I'll give you an example. Today we have a mikveh. Today is a mikveh. Men go to the mikveh Yom Kippur, Erev Yom Kippur. Women go to the mikveh once a month. Yeah, for their menstrual cycle. There's a mikveh. Today we go to mikveh. Let me ask you a question. If you go to a mikveh today, are you fully clean? Are you fully clean when you go to a mikveh? You walk into a mikveh. The answer is, of course not. You're not fully clean. You're partially clean. You're clean vis-a-vis the tum'ah that you had that requires mikveh. But what about the other tum'ah? I'll give you an example. Okay? Let's say I touched a dead body. So how do I get clean from a dead body? I need ashes of a red heifer. Let's say at the same time, I also, I became tameh, and I need now, let's say a dead animal. I touched a dead animal, okay? Now I also need mikveh. So I need two types of cleaning. I need a mikveh, and I also need ashes. Does it help if I go into a mikveh without doing the ashes part? Again, I have two black stains on me, okay? Two tum'ahs on me, two impurifications on me. One of them needs a mikveh, one of them needs a red heifer. Let's say I only do the mikveh. Does that help? Does that help at least for the first problem? Or you could argue and say, no. If you're anyways not clean, what's the point? You need to do the full shebang. You gotta do the whole thing. You gotta clean yourself 100%. You gotta go into the mikveh. You gotta go into the mikveh, and you gotta do the sprinkling. If you're not gonna sprinkle, then what's the point of going into the mikveh? You're still impure. You're still not clean. You still have a problem. You're still tameh. The answer is, the halakha is, doesn't matter. You're right, I have two problems, and if I can take care of one of them, Jannan. If I could take care of one of them, beautiful. Amazing. But what do you mean? You still have this whole other problem, whole other issue. You still can't go into the temple now. You still can't go on Rabbi. You still tameh mit. It's fine. Okay? It's not all or nothing. It's not all or nothing. If I became, it's okay. I could heal this. I could solve this. I could get better here. I could fix this problem. Beautiful. So what about the other problem? What would that be? No problem. We'll figure it out later. One problem at a time. You see, look at the words of here. Ma mikveh mitaher et hatemeim. Just like a mikveh cleans the impure. What does that mean? How do you understand that line? Just like a mikveh cleans the impure. Simply you understand it to mean, just like a mikveh cleans someone who's impure and makes him pure now. But it's possible to also read it differently. No. A mikveh cleans someone who remains impure. Et hatameh, even if you're still going to be tameh when we're done, but the mikveh helps. You're right, you're still going to be tameh. You still have a problem. We're still going to have to address that problem. But it doesn't matter. You could go into a mikveh, you could fix one problem, you could fix one issue. Beautiful. Do it. In Judaism, it's not all or nothing. It's not either you're fully clean or you're fully not clean. No. That's never how it is. You can fix a small problem, come in. Welcome. We welcome you. You see, this is what Rabbi Akiva learned. Rabbi Akiva learned this concept that sometimes even a little bit matters. Sometimes we don't think like that. Sometimes we think the opposite. Sometimes we act in a way like it's all or nothing. Either I'm learning and praying and staying away and watching what I eat and keeping Shabbat and this and this and then that, or I might as well just do everything wrong, right? Either I keep Shabbat or I don't keep Shabbat. No such thing as partially keeping Shabbat. Yeah, you can't be partially kosher. It's not true. It's not true. A person could be doing all of Shabbat wrong, and now they decide to pick one area of Shabbat that they're going to start keeping a little bit. You know what? From now on, if this is your level, again, we should be moving up. We shouldn't be moving down. But for some people, going up means every week I was on my phone. This week, I'm going to go on my phone for 1 hour less. That's a win. That's a W. This week, I'm going to go on my phone my left hand. This week, I'm going to go on my phone only in the day, not in the night. You see, this is a small step for this person. And let me tell you something. That's a mikveh. That's beautiful. That helps. God says, I love that. Let me take it. Come here. I want that. I want that little bit. Whatever little bit you're ready to give me, God says, I'll take it. There's no such thing as all or nothing to God. Imagine a guy owes you, borrows from you $100,000. Okay? Then he comes, borrows from you $100,000. After the due date, you go to him, you say, hey, you have my money? The guy says, what are you talking about? He says, remember I lent you $100,000? He says, what, 100,000? I don't know what you're talking about. You gave me 10,000, and if you want it, it's yours right here, 10,000. Because if not, I don't know what you're talking about. Right? Uh-oh. Now you realize you're stuck, right? You're up the creek, and you are in trouble. Okay, you don't have a contract, or you do, and it doesn't matter, because what are you going to do? You're going to take the guy and go to court and lawyers and spend more money than what he owes you. You realize now that all he's going to give you is 10,000. Right? What do you do? What do you do? So really, you look at this guy, a person could very easily feel, what kind of chutzpah are you? You think you're going to give me 10,000 and get off easy now? And now I'm forgiven? And now we're good? No. You know what? You keep your 10,000 and I'm going to shame you. I'm going to publicize you. I'm going to tell everyone about you. I'm going to make sure to defame you. I'm going to make sure that you become known to be the biggest crook and no one's business with you. No one lends you another penny. You're disgusting. How dare you? You don't even make a payment plan. That's not how this works. Right? But really, that's really what we do every day. We come to God. We say, listen, God, I don't know about all my other problems. This is one problem that I have. I'm ready to address this problem. You wanted to know? I'm ready to give you 10,000. I'm going to give you a little bit. Yes or no? And you know what Hashem says? One would think that God could very easily say, That's disgusting. Get out of here. How much I do for you, and now you're not even ready to pay me fully. That's not how this works. You got to do tshuva. You got to be good. God says, bring it on. You could only do 10,000. I'll take it. I'll take what I could get. But what do you mean? We still have a balance. I'm still going to be tameh. Mikveh Yisrael. Mikveh metaher et hatemeim. A mikveh purifies even people that will still have a debt. Even if you're still going to be tameh, the mikveh helps at least for this. You're right, you're still going to have tumah, you're still going to have issues, you still can't go into you still didn't get the ashes of the red heifer. But the mikveh helps for something. It does accomplish a little bit, and that little bit matters. And therefore you go into a mikveh, even if the other problem is still here. You see, Rabbi Akiva, he's teaching us something very profound about growth, about change, and that is that in life we have to grow a little bit at a time. It can't be all in one shot. It's got to be something that I feel like it's attainable, and I shouldn't kick myself either if I'm still doing 7 wrong things. That's not the attitude. The attitude is I'm doing one good thing. I gotta capitalize. I gotta feel good about it. Don't look at I'm doing 6 wrong. I'm doing one right. And it's good, and I'm growing in this area. We have to think like this about ourselves. We have to think like this about our family members, about the people around us. They're working on it. Sometimes we see people around us, they're not growing at the pace that we would like them to. Right? We grew. And a lot of times when we grew, it's very easy for us to start looking down at other people that didn't grow, to start judging them. What's going on? I stopped eating out. What's taking you so long? I started this. What's taking you? Why can't you? If I did, right? And sometimes because we were able to, and we were the ones there, and now we're here. So we look at everyone else. We say, "What's wrong with you? Why can't you do it? If I did it, you could do it." Sometimes we grow impatient at the pace of the people around us. It's too slow. Yalla, come on, hurry it up. But the truth is, part of growth in life is realizing that even every little bit matters. A little growth works. You can't do it all. Do one, take it. You can't read 10 pages, 1 page, it's good. One page is good. There's no amount of growth. There's no required amount. You don't have to get rid of every problem in one shot. Rome wasn't built in a day, my friends. That's a very powerful lesson. We know where Rabbi Akiva learned this from? You know where he learned this from? He learned it from the hole in the rock. He found the rock with a hole in it. And Rabbi Akiva looks at the hole and he says, "Who made that hole?" They said, "Well, you see those little water dripping in, one day at a time." And Rabbi Akiva that day learned something very profound. He learned the following. Let me ask you, my friends, does the first drop of water make any dent in that rock? Day one, go back to day one, 10,000 years ago, whatever, however many thousand years. Drop 1. Did that drop make a difference? Say no, right? The answer is 100% it did. Because if drop 1 made 0 difference, so drop 1 is 0, what's 0 plus 0? And the second drop and the third drop, 0 plus 0 plus 0 times 1,000,000 is going to be one big fat 0. The only way you have a dent, a hole, the only way you have it change is because the first drop did something. 0.000001. And when you take 0.000001 times 1,000,000, that makes a difference. That does make a change. So Rabbi Akiva realized that day that the smallest difference, the smallest change, the smallest Kabbalah, the smallest thing that I accept upon myself, there's no minimum for growth. Come on, what are you growing so slow? You have to start moving. No, doesn't matter. Even if you're still tameh after you're done, but you were able to fix a little bit, you were able to go into a mikveh partially, even if you still have other tum'ah, but this tum'ah is gone, we can take care of one tiny part of a problem, we'll take it. That's worth something. The first water, the tiniest drop of water makes a hole in the rock. You may not see it. But my friend, is making a difference. So sometimes in life, we go to a class and we feel like, what am I doing in this class? Sometimes in life, we start doing a little chesed. We wonder, what am I accomplishing? Did I really become such a good person? Did I really become a giver? Did I really become patient? Sometimes our marriage is on the rocks. okay? No pun intended, okay? Like Rabbi Akiva and the rock. And we see our marriage, what is one dinner gonna do? One outing with my spouse, one mini vacation, one this, one that, one walk, one coffee. What's that gonna accomplish? The answer is not gonna accomplish. But every little drop helps towards the goal. Every little drop accomplishes. You may not see it. You may think like that. You may think like Rabbi Akiva, what's it doing? But Rabbi Akiva realized that day, he learned that, you know what? This is how you grow in life. And you know what? For him, this was a paradigm shift. For him, he was able to, at 40 years old, he looked at himself and he said, you know what? You know what? My whole life, Rabbi Akiva says, I'm looking for results. And sometimes you don't see results. Sometimes you hit the gym and the next day, you look in the mirror and you want to see that six-pack. You look in the mirror, you're looking for that beach body. Where is it? I don't see it. I think I see it, right? Sometimes we're looking for results in one day or in a week. We go on a diet. We eat one salad and we go on the scale the next day and you want to see. Sometimes it's not how growth is done. Little bit at a time. When that first drop of water hit the rock, you couldn't tell it was a hole. It looked like nothing. It looked like nothing. But a little bit. It's true with everything in life. It's true with physical. It's true with relationships. It's true with our spirituality. It's true with God. It's true with everything in life. All of life requires a little bit at a time. Don't ever think that growth needs to look like something. This is what growth looks like. Every amount makes a difference. Every amount helps. Every amount is pushing it to the next level. Rabbi Akiva, the miracle of Rabbi Akiva is Rabbi Akiva would always go, he would always push, he would always climb, he would never give up on life. He would keep pushing himself. Even when it got dark, even when it got hard. He lost 24,000 students. You know what the miracle is? You know what the celebration is? The celebration is that he got up and found another 5. The miracle is that even if you're still tameh, realize that there's a small celebration. There's a partial mikveh here. There's something small. I keep going, I keep pushing, I keep climbing. In the morning, you achieve great things. What happens in the Erev? What happens now when it's dark? What happens in the, says Rabbi Akiva, Al Tanach Yadecha, says the Gemara, don't stop in the evening. You never quit in life. You got to keep pushing. You never quit. He lost 24,000. He didn't quit. He got 5 new ones. He was 40 years old. He didn't quit. He kept pushing. Because in life, you realize that you may not see difference. You may not see growth. You may not see anything that changed. But there is change. There is change. This is his attitude. This is philosophy in life. A philosophy, a mindset of persistence, of resilience, of growth. That is the only way in life, my friends, that we can ever become something. This is the celebration of Lag Baomer tonight. The celebration is the idea of resilience, of persistence, never giving up, realizing whatever little we did, it's good. Whatever little my children are doing, it's good. But this is what I want them to be. They should be here. They should be there. It's okay. This is also good. We accept this. God says, I'll take it. You can't be fully tahor. You can be partially tahor. I'll take it. To accept the people around us for who they are, for how they are. To love them, not for good, but. I'm very proud, but. No but. No but. This is it. This is where you, I accept it fully. This is what Hashem says to us. I accept you fully. Come on in. Come on in. God says, I accept you. I accept it. It worked. It worked. Even if you never end up going into the sprinkling of the red heifer. Even if you never get the ashes. But you got a little bit of a mikveh. That's a reason to celebrate. That's cause for celebration. We accept. God accepts us. May Hashem help us and bless us to accept the people around us, our spouse, our children, ourselves, to realize that every little bit makes a difference. Every little bit in God's eyes is a very long way. We'll stop over here, everyone. Have a wonderful day and have a happy Lag Baomer. And God willing, we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.